Hello and welcome to another episode, which we do have a lot of episodes. Actually, 3 seasons. We are in season number 3, episode number 4 of My Southern Exposure. And I don't mean from my waist down. It's going to be a juicy show, as it always is. And what I want to do first is thank the best co-host in the world, Raji Narayan Singh, and toss it over to you to do your salutations.
Flattery will get you everywhere. I know you know what's best, honey. If you want to get stuff out of me, you better flatter me. Anyway, hi everyone. Welcome back to another week of My Southern Exposure. And this week we have some really juicy topics. I want to welcome everyone back and put your seatbelts on. Get ready, honey. Now, before we start, I would like to say hi to Pretty Ricky. I hear him in the background. Hi, Pretty Ricky. and then I'd also like to pay homage to one of the Supremes, honey. The Supremes of all Supremes. Well, it was 3 of them. And now there's only one left, Diana Ross. But Mary Wilson died. I think it was yesterday. And she was 76, gonna turn 77 in March, so next month. But yeah, definitely a trailblazer. And I just wanted to say, soar with God, Mary. Soar with God. So on that note, I think I'm gonna toss it back to Joseph.
Well, it's funny that you say you're going to toss it back to me. And Pretty Ricky, I can see him sitting off to the side. At some point this season, Pretty Ricky will be making an appearance. I don't know when, but you all have been hearing his voice over the last couple of episodes, chiming in the background.
And it's going to be a striptease appearance.
I don't know. I'd have to ask him. I don't know if people, well, actually, no, they probably would like for him to do a strip tease because he's quite yummy looking. And he's shaking his head no. But the first thing that I want to do is say love right there above my finger. Peace, happiness, and blessings and prosperity. I'm using your words and tossing them right back on you at the beginning of the show. Because before the next show, we're going to have several holidays. Actually, well, most importantly for me, besides Valentine's Day, is today is the beginning of the second impeachment trial of the orange-faced monster. So I think it's great. I do want to talk about politics a little bit, but I want to make it lighthearted because everyone has their own opinion about the topic. And I want to try to reel myself back, but I have to also address the stuff that's going on. Chinese New Year is this Friday, the 12th, and it says -ox. I think that means the year of the ox. I don't know exactly, but I'm guessing that's what that means.
Year of the ox.
I don't know exactly all the stuff. Valentine's Day is this Sunday, the 14th. And then we have President's Day, Monday, the 15th coming up. But I do want to kind of lightly talk about the orange-faced monster for a moment or two. There's a lot of people on both sides of the aisle. I don't care about if you're Democrat or Republican. If you do something good or if you do something bad, I mean, if you do something good, you're good. But if you're doing something bad, it's bad. So if it was a Democrat who did the exact same thing, I would still be saying exactly what I'm saying right now because I am truly independent. If you're going to be doing something corrupt, you need to be held responsible no matter who you are. It does not make a difference. If I'm doing something bad, I should pay the price. All right, so what had happened, clearly everyone knows. So they're doing the second impeachment trial for the same person, And it's never happened before. That's especially not within 4 years. So, and a lot of people are getting hung up on this with that. They don't think it's necessary. The presidency is done. And there's a lot of different, conjecture, I should say. I think that's the right word, about that it's like frivolous to do this. I don't think that it's frivolous, because what happened, or what had happened was, is that the correct terminology? What had happened was, exactly. What had happened was, a leader at that point had so many people fired up with bullshit that they all gathered together. And even though he did not, quote unquote, legally say, go break the windows and go after this person or that person or that person, he was there that day because he was there, and he gave them a, what is it called? A pep rally. He gave them a pep rally and sent them off. And what happened is not acceptable. Does not make a difference who you are. I'm happy that they're rounding up all the goons one by one. We will get every single one of them. And some of those people will be in prison for 20 years. Because what had happened was, what had happened was something extremely illegal. I know, I see your mouth wide open, and it wasn't for like something good to eat or suck on. But that's the reality. That's the reality, though. Like, when you, the power of your words and my words and other people's words actually carry weight, whether we think they do or not. But if you know how much your weight is valued by 70 million people, you can't say stuff like that. Like, you gotta know when to shut it off. But what had happened was, after 4 years of bullshit and fake news that came out of the mouth, they all were programmed to believe that it was real. They were programmed like a computer. 4 years of the same bullshit over and over and over and over again. So they, okay, yes, sir, yes, sir. Just like Heil Hitler, same thing. So, I mean, I'm just saying that's my perspective. You can chime in a second as soon as I'm done with my little tangent. But I think it's great that we are having a second impeachment. I think there needs to be resolution to the situation, because we have to set a standard. And people are saying that it's unconstitutional to do this. Just treat him like he's a regular person. But what he did when he did it, he was the technical president of the United States. You can't do shit like that. That's not acceptable. I don't care who you are. If you were Hillary Clinton and did this, I would say the exact same thing. She wouldn't do it because she's a good person. Seriously. Like, her whole life was dedicated to helping other people, just like Joe Biden. Like, a long time of helping other people, not having photo ops with people holding a Bible backwards, where they have to spray people down with pepper spray, which I have a connection with the pepper spray story later. I'll share. But it's not about him. It's about this never being able to happen with anyone ever again. If we don't follow up with it, with whatever legal proceedings are necessary, and we don't stop it from happening, then that means anyone can do it. So, okay, let's say, oh, Joe Biden, if he doesn't like it, if he, quote unquote, has a marginal error, or he's pissed off because he lost by 12 million votes. Well, all right, all of us, let's just march down to the Capitol because, well, he got to do it, so why can't I? That's the point that I'm trying to make. You cannot allow behavior like that, no matter who it's coming from, except for Jesus or God or whichever God you believe in. When they come down and say something, then yes, let's all believe it. But no one else is that person. What do you think, Raji? I know I had a little tangent.
Well, okay. So I'm happy that they're doing this impeachment. I think it's more to prove a point. I don't know if it's going to really go through. I was listening to one of the, I can't even remember his name now, but he was arguing against impeaching President Trump, and he was reading from the like Constitution, and like breaking things down, and it says the president. So his argument was there can't be two presidents at the same time. To like the president, meaning the sitting president. So, like, if now that Biden is in, when you say the president, right away you think Biden, you're not thinking Trump. So, he was using that as an argument to say, well, now that President Trump is a former sitting president, that this impeachment thing shouldn't apply. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see how this is all going to play out. I think it's definitely, though, if it doesn't go through, it's going to just basically make a point. And I don't know if Trump will get it because Trump is someone that definitely marches to his own drum, to the beat of his own drum, and in not some so good ways. But yeah, so we'll see how it all plays out. Um, I don't know. There's a little okay. So I understand why people there's people that are hesitant to go through with this impeachment because the point is when you're president, right? Okay, you're president of the United States. You have a lot of responsibility. There's a large population of us, over 350 million people, and it is impossible to please everyone. So like no president in history is going to go down as perfect because there's always going to be some group that didn't like what he did, or maybe one day she did. So I see it's almost like you get an exemption, right? When you take on the presidency. That's those are the people that are like fighting against doing the impeachment. They're thinking, well, no, he was president. He has to be exempt from this. But um, but when you go as far as he did, I think that exemption kind of goes out the window because you know he had this is okay in my lifetime. I think this is the worst president I've ever seen, and I swear if you talk to some of his supporters, he's the best president that has ever been and will ever be. I don't know how they say that or what they're seeing, but anyway, I just think because I look at the climate, all right, of America, and and I know I see you, but I look at the climate of America, and I'm like, when he became president, all of these hateful, racist, white supremacist people that were always there seem to feel emboldened, bold and proud and loud about their hate. And I really feel that he fueled that. Now, of course, he's going to say, well, I didn't mean, I should say, well, when he said, go to the Capitol and you have to fight and all of that. I'm not quoting him, but that was the gist of it. You know, he would say, well, no, I didn't mean that. It was like, I was just saying, like, you have to be strong when you protest, some bullshit like that. But, again, I said this a few times. He talks out both sides of his mouth and he talks that Morse code shit, like read between the lines, that fast talking kind of thing. So, anyway, we'll see how it goes. I seriously doubt that he's going to be found guilty. I don't think they're going to do it because I mean there's a lot of different reasons, but I don't think so. I mean, I'll be really surprised. I should say pleasantly surprised if he is, but I don't think he will be.
I think he actually will. I think he actually will because of what happened.
Oh, okay.
Because of what happened. Like just talking about all the bullshit for 4 years is one thing, but having 6 people die
Well, and
because
yeah. Well,
I mean that's a different thing.
It is a different
Like,
thing. And what's interesting about this is that all those people that have been arrested now, they're all ready to throw Trump under the bus because they're all saying, well, we were following instructions and directions from our president. And so, I don't think there's anyone willing to go to jail for him now. You know what I mean? So
I do, but the part where you brought up that I didn't think about, which I love when you bring up stuff, because you have your perspective and I have mine and everyone else does too as well. You said about them using the Constitution, talking about the president. It doesn't say the sitting president. And if it was the sitting president, the crime was committed when he was. So that squashes that out the door.
yeah, that see, and that's the thing. He must have spoke for about an hour. And
I know.
And a lot of it was like, it just is kind of, to be blunt, mumbo jumbo. But he was breaking it down, and I guess hey, that's what lawmakers do, lawyers do. They bring their case and they debate their stand, or their perspective. But yeah, that's a good point you made, because you're right. He committed this when he was the sitting president. You're right. So. Yeah.
So I think that pushes that off to the side. So, but I think it's great that it's happening. And I think it sets a good precedence that this is not acceptable. I personally believe that he will be held responsible. And if it's not taken care of, because the important part is that you cannot allow any person to be in a position of power if they incite violence. That's what a communist government is. That's what a dictatorship is. That's an authoritarianism. We cannot have that, no matter who the person is. If it was an LGBTQ person of color, I would say the exact same thing. That is not acceptable.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like a lot of with what I'm finding with a lot of these Republicans is they have put party over country. Like I always say, and you said it a little while ago, I am a Democrat, but if there's a Democrat in the presidency acting the way Trump acted, he would not have my support just because I'm a Democrat. He would not have my support. So I don't get it. Was like they were like sticking through and through because, for the sake of the party,
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think that what's going to happen is that those 70 million people will be part of something completely different. And I'm concerned because we have 70 million people that believe in that kind of propaganda. And we have 70 million people to watch out for, like indefinitely. And we have no idea what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, who they're going to do it to, because they're all unhinged. And they feel emboldened because they're used to hearing lies and they're used to saying lies and they're never held responsible for it. So I like the idea that they're doing this. This is just like a process that has to be done. It has to be completed. It has to be a start and a finish. And after that's done, he's got a whole bunch of lawsuits lined up for him. Yeah. He's got so many lawsuits lined up for him. It's ridiculous. That's why we haven't heard much or anything from him or of him, which I think would be fabulous if we never see or hear him or his little bastard children ever again. That's just my perspective. So let's move on to something fun and friendly, but also something that I disagree with, but I got some enlightenment from. Did you watch the balls being thrown, the Super Bowl?
A little bit. I really watch the halftime show. That's my thing. But anyway, yeah, why?
Well, I was just asking because I didn't watch it. And I didn't watch it because that was my personal way of saying or displaying that I don't agree that it should have even happened at all. That was my personal choice. And I wanted to just say that out loud for everyone to know. I feel that 22,000 people who traveled to go to the Super Bowl that each paid approximately $2,500 a ticket. From what I understand, that's what they publicized on Good Morning America, GMA, with Gayle King. They had the three old guys that have been to every Super Bowl game, and he said it was $2,500 a ticket. So I think spending $2,500 a ticket to travel when you're basically on death's door, as an old person, to go to a state where we have like ridiculous numbers with COVID and people don't wear masks, instead of, you know, that $2,500 could have gone to, I don't know, pay somebody's rent or buy some food, make a car payment, pay someone's water bill, help the needy, help the homeless. So my perspective with the whole Super Bowl, is that I feel that it was a major misstep. And I'm not surprised because we have Ron Dick-Satan. So he's only concerned about making money. The only one good thing, actually there's two good things. I was very happy about people were able to purchase like a cardboard cutout of themselves.
Yeah.
And all the money went to a charity.
I thought that was
like,
a good idea. Yeah.
That was a really good idea. So it kind of offsets the bad, but it doesn't offset what we don't know about how much bad's going to come because of all the people that were there and all the workers that had to work and everyone who was there and didn't wear a mask. Because before the Super Bowl, apparently, and there's lots of video out there, all the viewers can pull them up and Google it yourselves and see it was Tampa Bay. Go ahead and have fun. You don't got to wear no mask. Just go out and have some fun. Go out and have some fun. You in Florida, you're in Ron Dick-Satan's area. So, I mean, seriously, it's not funny at all. Like, I know I made it look funny just to kind of lighten up the mood, but our numbers in Florida are ridiculous. And we have more than one strain of this virus. And now we're finding out that the vaccine is not going to be effective on the new variants. So you have to get the first one, then you got to get a booster, then you got to get another booster, and then another booster, and then another booster. So that's what we're finding out.
Wow, you heard that recently?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I was hearing the numbers, but you know what? Then they say after they say the numbers, they're like 8%. 8% doesn't seem like a lot. When you're talking about 100% of the population in Florida, and they keep saying, well, it's 8% of the population or 9%. And so when they say that, it diminishes like the numbers because you're like, well, that's not a lot. That isn't 10%, 8% isn't a lot out of 100. I mean, so, you know, that's what I think people start to get like, well, yeah, it's bad, but, you know, it's not that bad. You know, that's the attitude I think they have when it comes
well, I think, I mean, I thought I shared it last episode, but it might have happened before, since the last episode, but one of my best friends, his partner died. Did I say it last episode?
You did.
Or no?
You did.
Okay. So, all right. So, because my memory is not so good, so sometimes I gotta check myself before I wreck myself. So what I'm thinking about doing is starting to actually track down individuals' stories and create a completely separate website just for it, where their images continually play. when we're talking about 500,000 people who have died.
Yeah. And the thing is when you see the individual lives, that's when it really hits home. So even if it's, let's say, 20% of our population, okay, it doesn't sound like a lot out of 100, but when you look at all the lives, like individually, of the 400 and something thousand, 500,000 people, that's when I think it really hits home.
Yeah, I agree with you completely with that. I mean, let's use what happened with the FBI agents locally with us just recently. 2 FBI agents were basically murdered trying to stop a pedophile ring right in Sunrise or Plantation, Florida. They were well-trained agents. Unfortunately, I mean, I want to just say a prayer. I don't remember their exact names. They both had funerals this weekend. One was on Saturday, one was on Sunday. My thoughts and prayers are with them and their families. And based off of those stories from each of those people from various different resources, they were both wonderful people with caring families, and they helped their community. They were really good people, and they were really well trained. And some fucking pervert who is a pedophile and decides to kill them as he comes to arrest them. How about you just kill yourself if you're a pedophile and a pervert before you kill the agents? I mean, I'm not, well, I actually am saying it. It sounds bad to say it, but instead of killing somebody else who is trying to stop you from hurting children, just take yourself out of the equation. Seriously.
People want company. He didn't want to go alone. I'm kind of like making light of it, but you see it all the time. When it's a murder suicide, you're thinking, why the fuck did you kill them? Like, if you didn't want to be here, kill yourself. But they had to kill, take the rest out. Like, it's almost like they, come on with me. I'm out of here. You're going too. Lord.
No, I just don't understand it. Like, these 2 people were doing such a good thing to try to stop him, and they died. But I'm bringing that story back to show numbers. It is such a big deal to the entire world about these 2 people who died in the line of duty. What about the 500,000 that are dead? I mean, right now, because we have an actual person who cares about people that goes to church on a weekly basis, Joe Biden and Kamala, at the same church for the last 40 or 50 years, each one of them have been going to separate churches, hers and he's got his, with their entire family for a long period of time, not just for a photo op holding a Bible upside down, like the Orange Monster did for a photo op. Someone who actually cares actually did something of honor and had a display and had a moment of silence and acknowledges the deaths on a regular basis. It's just nice to see that, but it's such a stark contrast between 2 people dying, it being nationwide news, and 500,000 people dead. Let's say, because I don't really know what numbers to believe, to be honest with you, Raji. I really don't. Like, some of them are false positives, some of them are false negatives. People are walking around, working at strip joints, slipping down a pole, or possibly pouring your drink for you at your local bar. Who had it and now they don't, but it doesn't mean they can't spread it. They might have their mask on and be like, and then grab a glass and pass it to you. So, but I'm just saying, like, to see 2 people turn into such a big story so quickly, and 500,000. So let's say it's 250,000. Let's like cut it in half just to like split the shit. Mm-hmm. That's the entire city of Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, and even beyond that, the number that they have as positive tested, they were saying, I forgot what I was listening to, but they said it's probably double that because people have had it and haven't been tested. You know, they had it and it was a mild case and they got, you know, it's gone now and they never got tested, so they weren't counted. So the numbers are probably double, you know, double what, not in deaths, I'm talking about in
Cases.
yeah, cases, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact,
Actually, I'm going to go over the basic numbers because I printed it off yesterday. So for the United States, this I printed off yesterday on Google. You can Google it yourselves at home. And while you're Googling it, don't forget to Google My Southern Exposure. So, and then save the website. And then don't forget to subscribe directly to our website, mysouthernexposure.site. Sorry. That's my little bit of humor to kind of offset the horrible part of what I have to read. I apologize, but that's the way that I deal with problems in my life. 27 million people in the United States have now had this virus. 463,000 deaths. That's for the entire country. All right, so for the state of Florida, 1.78 million people have it right now that we know about. And 27,695 people have died. If you cut either or all four of these numbers in half, that's still a lot of people that are sick.
it is.
It could be electronics and 5G. It could be chemtrails. It could be stuff falling from the sky. It could be if you touch something, it doesn't affect you, but it affects the next person. We have no clue what's going on. That's the reality. We really don't. We have no clue. And if anyone tells you that they do, they're full of fucking shit. All right, so, but the thing is that we have to just acknowledge the problem and then we have to work through it. But we have to be logical about it. And we can't make money more important than people.
Yeah.
And at this point so far, it's been all about money. Money, 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 money. That's all that's been the important part. And that doesn't matter at all, because when you're laying on your deathbed on an oxygen tank and you can't even touch your grandson or your daughter because you're not even allowed in the same room, and they have to put you in a meat cooler, like a meat locker, like a cow in a black bag. I mean, seriously, not to get dark, but I just want to just talk about the reality part of it. So we have to be serious and honest about what's happening. And then we can move past it, but I think it's going to get much worse before it gets better. So I'm double masking, honey. I put this mask on. I got another mask out in the car. I got two masks on. Mm-hmm. I got glasses. I mean, I'm starting to look like Darth Vader when I go places, seriously. I mean, and I wipe my groceries down. I wipe everything down. I'm not even around nobody. I've been doing some work and stuff, but not around anybody, which is nice.
You sound like my mom. My mom wipes. Oh, she's been wiping all the groceries down and stuff. Me, I have to admit, I slacked in that area, but I do wear my mask all the time. I know. Yeah, I forget sometimes. Honestly, I'm just being real. I forget. But the thing is I wear my mask. I've been, I'm always like sanitizing my hands and stuff. But yeah, I forget. And it's like, oh shit. Like sometimes I come in and I'll put the stuff away and then I'm like, oh my God, crap. But you know what? That's when you just, for me, I say, you know what? I'm trying, I'm just trying my best and hopefully I'll be safe. I mean, I don't think I'm going out there and rampantly being reckless, but it's just one of those things. And even when you're careful, you could be in the proximity of somebody and still. So I don't know. It's crazy.
No, it is crazy and it's stressful. And I mean, it's kind of good to talk about things in a funny way because it makes the topic a little bit less stressful. And when I notice when someone's stressed about something, what I usually do is change the topic. So I want to change the topic now because I can see you putting your hands up. Let's talk about The Weeknd. You said you watched the show. I did not watch it at all. I don't understand why The Weeknd is a big deal at all, but there's other people that I thought it was pretty amazing. So,
Okay.
tell me about what you liked the most about the halftime show.
Okay, so one of my friends, Onyx, shout out to Onyx. She loves The Weeknd. Oh my God, she loves The Weeknd. Well, I think what makes The Weeknd so like different from like other R&B singers, because he's like a big crossover with a lot of his music. He just has a different vibe to him, and it's very unique. Now, as in regards to the halftime show, I thought he did a great job. The techno, whatever they call it, the lights and all of that, technotronics, I guess. Yeah, the stage, everything was fabulous. He sang well, but The Weeknd is not a dancer, and I wouldn't say that he's like, well, he's a performer definitely because he gives a decent show. But okay, I think what it is because he's not a dancer. It wasn't like when Bruno Mars performed a few years back. Bruno Mars, I thought was like, oh my God, freaking fabulous because his dancers and his band, they were all dancing and singing, and it was just like, it was tight work. It was really tight. I loved it. Also, I loved Shakira and Jennifer Lopez last year. I thought they did an excellent job. Another one, Beyonce was also, I thought was also very good. But yeah, The Weeknd, I would say for me, 1 out of 10, I would say I would probably give him about a 7. Now I give Bruno Mars a 10.
Right. You know what? A lot of people, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, some people were like, he spent $7 million of his own money to do the performance. Okay, let's make this real. He didn't spend $7 million. That's a tax write-off because it's a business expense. So that's the first thing. Let's address that. It wasn't a donation. Okay, that's a tax write-off. So instead of you making $50 million this year, now you have a tax write-off for 7. Not to underscore the goodness in his heart of what he did, because he did something great, apparently. I was not impressed at all. Let's push that off to the side. Now, what I was impressed with were the 2 Black girls. I don't remember their names. I think one was called Her, and I can't remember the other one. The other one's more well-known than Her. I never even heard of Her, but it's stuck in my head. The 2 of them have been collaborating on projects for a while, apparently. And the one plays guitar. I think that's Her. And then the other one that I can't remember her name, she sang a song. And then the third one was, for the very first time, The Poet. She was part of the thing, which that's never happened before. Which I think that it's nice that was something that was done because it's completely different from what usually happens at such a machismo kind of thing. Yeah. So I think it's great that we had people of color. I know it sounds stupid to say it that way, but I think it's great that we did, and that we had women and we had men, people of color. So I think those parts are good. And I like the idea of the cardboard cutouts with all the money going to some kind of a charity. That's good. but I can't not forget the fact of all of that going on. And then the images of what happened the night before the Super Bowl. Then I think about, then they all went to the Super Bowl. Then I think, and I see the images of what happened after the Super Bowl. And then I'm thinking about, where are all those people going? And most of the people did not have masks on at all. Like they were immune to being sick. So we have at least 22,000 people out there that were just in Tampa. So I'm going to project that in Tampa, specifically, we're going to have a gigantic spike in sicknesses and illnesses within the next 2 weeks. So I can't rationalize, because Rick Dick Satan wanted for us to have them here, like everything is normal, all bets are off, do whatever you want to in Florida. Because you and I are looking, you and I are right here in the same area, basically. We're looking at spring break coming up, honey.
Yeah, I know. Well, see, that's when you realize how money drives a lot of things. And the NFL means a lot of money. It's like cha-ching, the NBA, cha-ching, a lot of sports for that matter. So money, it boils down to money. And you notice, like, they could not, I mean, when the pandemic first happened, I know they had delayed the season a little bit and stuff, but it was like, oh hell no, we got to get this going, because first of all, a lot of people love sports. They love it, right? Secondly, it's a cash cow. It's just a machine. And so that's how come they were like, oh, we're going to have, with the NBA, oh, we're going to have the bubble in Orlando. And oh, they were doing everything to be able to carry on with, business as usual. They took precautions, but it was like, oh, hell no, we got to keep this machine going. We cannot not have a season. That's my point. They could not have a season. They had to.
Well, I mean, what do you think about that, though? Because the fact is, from my perspective, I can understand having a business, because I'm a business owner. But at some point, you have to come to terms with what's safe and what's not. I mean, you do.
I think they wanted their cake and eat it too. I think they tried. They did things like I mean, when you think about it, look at all the cutouts in the stand. I mean, it wasn't nearly as many people there that could have been there. So they filled out the whole stadium with cutouts, and they only had 22,000 people. So yeah. They're people who paid for those cutouts paid for each one of those seats. So basically, that whole stadium was full of people. It looked like the whole stadium was full of people, but they spaced out the actual people 10 rows from each other. Well, so then there was Well, that's what I'm saying. They took precaution. So it wasn't like they did it haphazardly. I mean, they did. I mean, they carried on because they wanted to have the Super Bowl, but they still did try to take some precaution. So
right. But this is my question for you. Because I understand what you're saying. I don't agree with it necessarily, but I understand what you're saying. So there's new legislation currently on the books that some guy down in Miami, Anthony, I can't remember his name. I'm just going to call him Anthony Penis, because he sounds like a dick and looks like one too. Dark hair on the top and red on the bottom. So fix your hair, dude. Make it all red or make it all black. So he said that they're pushing through legislation. Right. Well, yours looks good on you, and you're not a dick. So, but he's trying to push through some kind of legislation that makes it that businesses cannot be held responsible if you get sick. This is something they're actually doing just for the state of Florida. where, okay, you go to, let's just say a grocery store, because I don't want to name names of places, because I never like doing it. Unless you're an advertiser or somebody that I know that I want to plug for free. That's the only time I ever do it. But you go to a grocery store and you're fine. And then you go home. And then you end up getting sick. There's actual legislation that this whatever his name is, Anthony Penis. I guess that's a new one because Ron Dick Satan. Now we got Anthony Penis because they're very similar. So Anthony Penis down in Miami. I'm watching you, buddy. Seriously, I'm watching. And I don't care if you like it, just because if you don't like what I'm saying, just because you're an attorney. You're not the only attorney on the face of the planet. So he wants to push through legislation that makes it okay that you can't, let's say I go to a supermarket, I'm fine, and then I get sick, and the only place I went was that supermarket, I can't sue them.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That is not fair. That is not fair.
Okay, so this is the thing. How can you prove this? Because I get what you're saying. Like he wants it so no one's liable. No.
Correct. Yes.
Liable.
Yes. Yep.
But the thing is, like, take me for instance today. I went to the gas station. I went to Publix. I went to the post office, right? And I went to Walgreens. Okay. And say I get sick tomorrow, I won't know where the fuck I picked it up. And even if I had went to one place, who's to say I didn't already have it from like last week and now it's it's manifesting. So it's like that's kind of hard to prove.
Well, this is my point though. Okay, so I'm not going to say the name of the place, but let's just put it this way. If they're putting legislation together to protect businesses,
yeah,
and they're disregarding you and me, I would not go to a place if I knew the employees were sick. I would go somewhere else. I would, or I'd just stay at home. I don't have to go shopping. I could have it delivered. I could wipe the shit down. Like, this is the part that I have the problem with. Like, seriously, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is life and death. It's not about having Benjamins in your fingers. If you're going to protect the business and then disregard the people, then you're a fucking dick. Seriously, you really are. And you want to push it through to protect the business. You're not protecting the business, buddy. All you're doing is protecting your salary because you work for the government. You want to make certain that you can continue to come back and make some money and make your constituents happy, that some of those business donations, that money is coming from some of your businesses that you're going to try to protect. You're not protecting the people. You're not protecting the people by doing something like that. So if you're going to do the one, then you have to do the other. I don't need to know the name of the person who's sick at the business, because that's for HIPAA. That's a private thing. That's like privacy laws that have already been on the books for more than, I think, 25 or 30 years. But I won't go to a business if I know someone was sick there. Well, I will go to a different one.
But the thing is, what business is going to scream from the mountaintops someone was sick there? I mean, the thing is, that's like what business is going to say, oh, well, one of our employees came down with COVID? They're not going to do that. They're not going to.
It's not a matter of if they will. Mm-hmm. They have to. Otherwise, we're never going to get a hold or control of this, Raji. We'll never be able to get through this unless we start to think about it differently. We've been thinking, not me and you, but the people who have been in control have been thinking about money, making money, starting the economy, restarting the economy, boosting stuff, travel, all these things. It's never going to go away if we think about it that way. We have to think about it differently. My only proposal is that we need to think about it differently. if you're going to protect the business, what are you doing to protect me?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Like,
Yeah.
because I saw your mind spinning a little bit there, because that was kind of a heavy topic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's okay. So that's just like I think yesterday the case was shot down in the court about the parents that took the school board to court, or Spelman Douglas High School to court, and the judge ruled saying, how can you, like, how could they be responsible for what might happen in the future? And I felt bad for those parents, but honestly, I agree with the judge.
I don't agree with that at all, but I know what you're saying, but I don't agree with that.
I mean, he was saying, well, how can you make someone responsible for something that you didn't even know was going to happen? Like, the thing is he wasn't even going to the school anymore. It was like a random thing that he just came out of left field and did this. He wasn't a student of theirs anymore. And, the judge was saying, like, for them to be responsible for that, he couldn't rule in the favor of the parents. And like I said, I felt bad for the parents, but I see his point. And that's how law is. It gets very convoluted. Like that guy in Miami we're talking about, who is trying to make this law to protect the businesses. And I know why he's doing it, because he's thinking entrepreneurs, he's thinking business owners, he's thinking, the economy and money. And that's what his drive is, because if he's trying to protect the businesses over the customers or the consumers, I mean, it's obvious where his focus is. But again, like I said, I don't think it's going to really make much of a difference, because I went 4 places today doing errands. And if I got sick tomorrow, I wouldn't be able to tell you where the hell I got it.
But what would you have? Okay, let's put it this way. So would you have changed?
I might go into court trying to sue because I wouldn't be able to prove where I got it from. Like, anyway, yeah.
No, I understand. But okay, so let's break it down in a different way, because I have like 5 different things that I thought about while you were just talking. First of all, with Stoneman Douglas is the place you were talking about. I completely disagree with that judge. I can understand what you just said because of the way that you said it. I didn't like it when I saw it on the news. I instantly discounted it. But I can understand from your perspective the way that you said it, and I can appreciate it. I don't have to agree with it, but it's a good discussion point.
Well, that's like me going into some business and shooting up people, and then the family of the people trying to sue the business for something that I did. I mean, how would they know that? What I'm trying to say is, like, how could they be responsible for some insane bitch going into a place and shooting it up? I mean, unless I was there, like, working for them, I made threats. See, there's a lot of exceptions. Like, if I was making threats that I was going to do this, then the business might be liable, because then if I was the judge, I would have said, well, why didn't you warn the employees about the threats? But if there was no threats, if I have no connection to this place, even if, let's say I worked there 2 years ago, I'm not an employee anymore, and then I just decide one day, fuck it, I'm going in there and I'm going to shoot at people at this business. The business can't be responsible for my actions.
Well, actually, you're mistaken. But I just want to remind people that you would never do that, because you said it a couple times about, like, if that would never happen with you. So just, you're all safe at home. But I do want to bring to a point, when you have a business, an actual physical location in the state of Florida or anywhere, you actually do have a legal obligation to keep your customers, your employees, and any personnel that come in and out of your location there's lighting considerations, there's security, there's a lot of things that are actually in the law already. So the way that I look at this Stoneman Douglas thing, it's a precursor to what this Anthony Penis wants to do. They slid this in like a guy coming in your back door at the middle of the night and you didn't realize you forgot to lock your door, but it felt good. Basically, they just shoved it right up there. The Stoneman Douglas thing is just like that. That judge needs to really seriously, from my perspective, look in the mirror tonight and think about what he or she or him or her or whatever identification that they notify with, because I don't know the name. It pissed me off and I don't even want to look into it anymore, but I do know what you're talking about. I think they need to look in the mirror and think about what they said and the reasons and the ramifications that are going to happen because of that decision, because that sets a precedence. That decision sets a precedence. Now, this is the new quote unquote, what's acceptable. I don't like using the word the new normal because I hate that word. It's disgusting. It's offensive. I'm sick of hearing it. It's propaganda. It's like, it's just disgusting. So, but I think what happened with the Stoneman Douglas thing just the other day, that basically gives everybody, every company a free pass to not be held responsible for anything. Those schools, every school, it's required by law at this point in the United States. It kind of ties in with our last episode. You have to send your child to school. You can't protect my child from a predator. You can't protect them from a school shooter. You can't protect them from COVID. You can't protect them. Seriously, what can you protect them from? And they're forced to go to school. So what are we doing? We're basically putting all the kids in a shooting gallery. Because if you're not going to get shot with a bullet, you're going to get sick or you're going to get molested. That's the way that I look at it. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
No, that's the way I look at it. So basically it's a free pass for the schools, but the schools force the kids to go to school. That's not kosher with me. Do you understand what I'm saying with that part? Does that make more sense when I say it that way?
Yeah, I think you're kind of apples and oranges because the thing is that, yes, of course, I know if you have a business or an establishment, there are rules and regulations and things you have to do to keep your customers safe. But we're talking about someone that walks in, a random person that walks in and shoots up the people. I have no control over that as a business owner. I have
But you do.
control. I do?
Yes.
I have control over what you do.
Absolutely.
I have control over what I do. And,
Yeah,
and how I run my business. But I don't have
That's my point. But
over-
that's my point though. But that's my point though. That's my point, honey.
what I don't get. I'm lost. I'm lost.
My point is that as a business owner, your what your top priority should be to keep your employees safe and your customers.
I understand that, but that still does not make me responsible for some crazy nut that runs into my business and shoots us all up. I could have a security guard. I could have an alarm system. I could have this and that and the other, but shit happens.
Well, with this Stoneman Douglas thing, it's a bit different though, Raji. With this Stoneman Douglas thing, it's completely different because he was a former student and he had mental issues that were acknowledged by the council at the school before he left. And there were emails and phone calls and everything that led up to this event.
Okay, so now see, I didn't know that part. Now, if there was a track record or like a chain of emails or whatever that was showing that this could
social media showing him holding a gun and like a whole bunch of stuff that led up to this. You know what I mean?
But see, then the other thing is to HIPAA. And and defamation of character, because the thing is, I could be on social media saying whatever, this and that and the other, and then for them to then go announce to the whole school that you got to watch out for me because I'm crazy. That's I haven't done anything yet. That's a defamation of character.
Yeah.
So it's a fine line. It's a really fine line. You know,
but I don't think it's.
And on top of it, he was a minor. So that's a whole other thing that comes into play. You can, if you're dealing with a minor with mental issues, that's not something you put news out to the whole school and student body and all, because from the professional's perspective, we have to protect this minor that's going through mental issues. So
yeah,
there was something, the ball dropped somewhere or a few places, but I think it's so convoluted and it's so complicated. Now, like I said, I didn't know about all the emails and all of that and the threats. If he threatened the school, that's a whole nother story. Then, I mean, yes, maybe the school is liable, but.
Well, I mean, that's my concern though, is like to make the new precedents that a school cannot be held responsible. That's my concern. Even though they had security guards and the one guy waited 10 or 15 minutes before he even responded. That's the other part. Remember, don't forget about the guy who was just hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, that's the part where I'm saying it's like, it's multifaceted. So when I saw that come across, that's the part that I'm like, no, that's not that. No, the parent made a mistake. The school made a mistake. The people who were hired made a mistake. So it's just one of those things that's like, we got to figure out a way to do it in a different way. And I'm actually happy that you and I disagreed on this topic, because this is the most heated conversation we've ever had.
Well, no, but the thing is I wouldn't say I disagree. I'm saying that, see, the thing with you, sometimes you blur things because you went from one topic to another, back to another, to the other topic.
I'm sorry.
You were talking about the school, then we went to a business, then we went back to school, then we okay. So,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry, but we're not gonna get things. Listen, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm not gonna get things confused. Let me clarify myself. I'm saying I agree with you when it comes to, yes, if you have an establishment, if there's a school, if whatever it is, there is a responsibility for that institution, establishment, business, et cetera, to protect this, the safety of their customers and their students or what have you. But I also feel that there are circumstances beyond one's control that I should not be liable as a business owner. Like, if I've done everything in my power, like, alarm system, security guard, whatever else, a safe environment, zoning is all correct and stuff, and then some knucklehead runs in the business and shoots us up, I am not responsible for that. Now, if there were threats, like if it's a disgruntled employee, maybe it gets a little murky then, because if I'm getting threats saying he's going to do this, then maybe I'm a bit more liable in the sense that I should have taken more precaution. But I'm speaking in the terms of, if you don't, like, beyond one's control, like, like you can do so much and follow whatever guidelines, but there's a point where shit happens beyond your control, and should you have to be responsible for that? That's what I'm trying to say. But that Spelman Douglas thing, I didn't know about the emails and that stuff. See, that changes my perspective now on that in regards to that, to the Spelman.
Right, no. Yeah. No, I understand, and I'm sorry for jumping from one topic to the next, because I do that with you on a regular basis, and I apologize. So I'm sorry for the viewers at home, because I jump from topic to topic, and your opinion matters so greatly to me, and I bow down to you on a regular basis. because my love is so strong for you.
Oh,
And you do so much to help everybody and everything as well.
okay, so listen. Did you hear about the Gorilla Glue case?
I don't understand why she put it on her head.
Well, listen to this. She's suing the company. That do you think the company is liable for her for that situation?
Well, from what I understand, she already has gotten, I think, $15,000 donated to her. So they can just rip off that whatever's there and she can start from scratch. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
But
I mean, but actually you bring up a good point because with something like that, if I'm hurting myself with something, then I'm not going to sue somebody for it. But if I'm hurting somebody else, or I'm the person who gets hurt by somebody else, abso-freaking-lutely I'm going to sue. That's for sure. But I think she deserved what happened to her, and it sounds bad for me to say that out loud. But she's already got coin at this point. She's going to probably look like Beyonce by the end of it. Once they rip off the glue, give her some new hair, she'll have some new tits sticking up to the sun.
Well, I'll tell you, I think it's a waste of time. I think she'll lose in a court of law. The company did not make that glue, nor do they profess that glue is to be used on hair. All right. And so she took it into her own hands to do that. They are not liable. And I think she'll waste her money, her time, her energy, and her money trying to sue this company, because that's like me freaking going in the bathroom and getting Fabulosa and pouring it all over me and breaking out in horrible hives, and then I say, well, I'm suing the company. There's nowhere on the Fabulosa bottle that says good for the body and taking baths and everything. Come on. Anyway.
No, I completely agree with you with that because first of all, I think it was just like what do you call it? A stunt, like what is it called? Not a political.
I know
what is it called?
I know what you mean. A stunt like
it was just basically a stunt, like a public stunt.
Yeah.
That she got the attention.
A publicity stunt.
That's it. That was it. My brain is not the best still. So it was a publicity stunt. Yeah. But when she did that, I got to give her a little bit of props. When she did that, and by the way, her hair looked really good in those photos. I mean, it was slicked back. It looked good. I mean, it was not moving. So that Gorilla Glue does definitely work really good on hair, but I'm not suggesting that any of our viewers put it on their hair.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it under my tits. Maybe they'll stay up. The Gorilla Glue. Maybe the Gorilla Glue will hold my tits up.
But the end result for her is that she already is bank. She already is in the thousands. Like 12, 15, 16, $17,000 that people have donated to her.
Wow.
So I mean, seriously, it was a publicity stunt, and now she's going to get a little bit of coin. So to be honest with you, I'm kind of happy for her, even though she made a really bad decision, because everyone needs a little hand up sometime.
Yeah.
But that was really fucking stupid.
But you know, we all make mistakes. So yeah, and that's good. I mean, if she can get some help, why not? I just don't think that she's gonna win if she tries to sue a company, you know. But hey, more power to her. More power.
No, she's not gonna win. She's not gonna win, because I agree with you with this completely. Because that would be like me doing something. That would be like me suing Hurricane, my favorite beer. Because I fall tripping inside of my house as I go to bed. I mean, give me a break. Are you kidding me? Oh, by the way, Hurricane, if you're interested in advertising, you can contact us directly. advertise at mysouthernexposure.site. I drink a beer regularly on the show. It's the first time I've actually shown the bottle that's the beautiful amber colored liquid in my beer that makes me so saucy.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
It's called Hurricane. It's called Hurricane.
Hurricane.
Wow.
Hurricane. Like a hurricane. Yeah, that's my favorite. It's cheap. It's very inexpensive. So I'm a cheap person. You know that. Not cheap, like in a bad way, but I mean, I don't like spending money. Anyway, so let's move on to another topic. I wanted to discuss this publicly with the listeners and also the guy who sprayed me with mace, or I should say pepper spray. Did you get the chance to watch the video or no?
No, I didn't get a chance to. I would have probably really watched it if you had filmed the guy, because that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see the actual scenario, like what was
it was such a simple thing. I'm gonna like collapse it down really quickly into a short couple sentences, but then I'm gonna ask you a question at the end. So I'm just doing my thing. I see a lady as I'm leaving the supermarket parking lot. I'm still in the parking lot, not on the street. I'm in the parking lot. And by the way, there's I pull off to the side. I put my hazard lights on, and there's another way to leave, just like 20 feet away. It's multiple driveways to leave. So I put my hazard lights on, and I put them on because this lady was pacing back and forth, like she was confused. So I'm like, well, she obviously needs some help. She had some nice clothes on. Whether she had nice clothes on or not wouldn't matter to me, because I would still talk to the person and ask them if they needed help if they didn't. But so I put the window down. I'm like, are you okay? She's like, I don't know where I'm at. I'm like, okay. I don't know how to deal with that answer right now, but can you come to this side of the car so I can talk to you, because you're standing right in the middle of the road. I don't want you to get hit. I leave the window down. She walks the other side of the car while my hazard lights are on, by the way, obeying the law, me, talk to her. I see people as they're coming up in the rearview mirror. I just wave them on. People are going around. I'm getting some information from her to find out if she needs like medical help, or if she's okay, or what's going on. This entire incident only took about 3 minutes, just to put that out there, like sitting at a stoplight. Okay. After like 4 or 5 cars, I think seven cars go by, this guy pulls up. And if you live in this neighborhood, bro, that little green cube you got, I remember exactly what you look like. He pulls up, and he first thing he says is, do you need help? I'm like, no, I don't need help. I'm good. I was like, I'm just helping her. He's like, well, why don't you move your car? I'm like, I'm helping her. She needs directions. Like, I'm typing in her address, and then he decides to interrupt me. And he like started cussing at me. I'm like, I don't need to talk to you. I put my window up. And then he left. And we help her. We get the address where she's going. I find out where she's going. She's just basically like 4 blocks away. She's visiting from Massachusetts. Little old lady visiting from Massachusetts, walks to the grocery store. Like, seriously. And she gets lost and confused on her way back. I can understand that. You're supposed to help people. You're supposed to help people. That's the fucking point of the story. So she leaves, and she says, oh, don't worry about him. Fuck him. So as we're leaving, he comes back and starts to follow me, which I didn't notice at first. I just pulled off, and I saw a green car going in. I'm like, oh, there's another green car, whatever. I'm going home. I make my turns to come home. I make another turn. I'm like, I started to see like the car getting kind of close to me because I don't get close to cars. Like I usually give like, I was always taught that when you drive your vehicle, you never pull up closer to a car unless you can see the bottom of their back tire. That's like old school driving teaching. So then that way you can pull out and not hit the person in front of you. Anyways, this mofo started to catch my attention. So then I made an extra left and then an extra right. I'm like, no, that can't be the same person, like in my head. And then I'm like, well, apparently it is. So I pull over halfway home and I put my hazards on. And I get out of the car and I walk up to the car and my hands are up like I'm talking to a police officer. I'm like, what's wrong? Why are you following me? This mother, father, cousin, uncle, niece, fucking thing decides to pull out pepper spray and spray me. Luckily, he sprays horribly and it went on my shirt instead, which if people want to watch the video, they can get a more harsher version of the story that's much longer. It took 10 minutes. They can just go to Joseph Manuel Velo on my Facebook and they can just watch the video. But he sprays me. And the best part about it was I was so calm, cool, and collected. He didn't even know what to do. He didn't even know what to do.
Yeah.
He left. He left. And he actually, the part that I think is strange is that he actually backed down an entire 2 blocks to get away from me.
No, honey, that wasn't strange. He didn't want you to get his license plate number. He backed up so you wouldn't see his license plate.
Well, the thing is that I know what that car looks like and I know how to pull traffic cam footage. So I am going to get that license plate number. That's for sure. And I will be filing a police report against him. Absolutely. Because I cannot allow a behavior like that to be continue. He might have been a visitor, so maybe I won't find out who he was. He might have been in somebody else's car. God only knows. I mean, seriously. But we came home and I was fine. And as we pull in the driveway and back in and stuff, I say something to Pretty Ricky. I'm like, I got to jump in the shower. My eyes are burning. He's like, why? I'm like, oh, he sprayed me with pepper spray. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, I got sprayed with pepper spray. He's like, how? I'm like, I don't want to tell you that. I mean, I don't want you to get upset. And then he touched it on my shirt because it was still there. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it doesn't actually smell. That's the funny part with pepper spray. It doesn't really have a smell.
Oh, it doesn't.
Doesn't really have a smell at all. So I stripped off my shirt, threw it in the bedroom. It's still actually sitting by the side of the bed after I did the video. I get in the shower and think that I can just take a shower and get the smell because I have a little bit of like I can feel it, like a little burning, kind of, you know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't realize how strong pepper spray was until it gets into your eyes. I had to wash my hair 10 times to get it out of my eyes.
Wow.
It was crazy. So, but my question for you is, what would you do in that situation? Because you've had a lot of situations that were hostile.
Yeah, you're right. I have. I'm trying to. Oh my God. Well, first of all, I want to say, I think it's great that you stopped and helped that lady. That's really, really, really great because you're right. You saw someone in need. you saw that she was confused and you took the time to stop and you found out that she was lost and she really did need assistance. So I think that that's a wonderful thing that you did. And we need to help one another. We need to be kind to one another. And so yeah, and as far as that jerk, that freaking jerk, he had nothing better to do with his fucking life. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
He had nothing better to do with his life than to follow you all the way home and then pepper spray you. I mean, what the hell was that? And you know what? I just think he was looking for like some shit to get into. Because
Like trouble.
yeah, because the thing is, if he was okay, so you're blocking the way a little bit. He could have went around. All right. Initially, I'm thinking, well, maybe he was in a hurry, and like he's like, you know, like what's going on here? But then when I heard he followed you, I'm like, oh hell no, hell no.
I'm still watching. I'm still listening.
Yeah,
I think you're. I mean, it's just a crazy. It's I mean, the takeaway I think is to remain calm.
Well, you did because I think I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have been freaking out. I mean, you know, the thing is, like, why would he spray you with pepper spray? You weren't attacking him. And he's such a faggot. Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all, I can use that because I'm LGBTQ.
Me too.
If you're hetero, that word isn't very nice. Well, I don't use that word a lot anyway, but I'm saying like I have a pass, you know, but he's such a freaking F word because
yes,
because I mean he follows you and then he sprays you with pepper spray and then he backs his car up so you can't see his license plate. Oh please. You know, but you handled it well. And you know what? He's gonna follow the wrong person one day. Oh honey, he's following people home. Oh honey, he might want to watch that because he'll follow someone home with a nice gun who'll shoot him. So
no, I completely agree. And the fact is that I am going to follow up it with a police report. I'm definitely going to track him down if he's local. That's for sure, because that is unacceptable behavior. Not dissimilar to what happened with the orange-faced monster. We have to start holding people responsible for things.
We do,
because it seems like for years we've been letting people get a free pass. Like you can do whatever you want. You can't do whatever you want. There actually are some basic human rules, like be nice, open a door, let the person out in front of you. Like the ironic part with that is that just before I got to the little old lady, I sat in the parking lot and waited 2 or 3 cars to go by because they were coming in.
Yeah.
And then I go around the corner and then I help the little old lady. And this mofo or fafo, motherfucker, fatherfucker, I don't know what he was, but I mean, and I don't care. But whatever.
And you know what? I hate to stereotype, but the fact that he had mace, I know he was a gay thing. Because what straight man carries mace? I'm sorry, I'm stereotyping, but really, like, what hetero, cisgender, straight alpha man's gonna carry freaking mace?
None.
That's a queen thing. That's a queen thing, honey.
And when that mace came out, the only funny part about the whole thing was that when it came out, it looked pink. It looked like pink silly string.
Wow.
And I'm not going to say the race of the person because that does not matter, but they were a person of color, Raji. So I think there might have been some little premeditation with this because my car kind of stands out.
I bet you I bet you he wouldn't have followed someone back to Sis Trump Boulevard. He knew what he was doing. My mom always says cow knows where weak fence is. He summed you up and he figured, oh, please, I'm gonna follow this one. If it was someone that, but see, looks are deceiving because you pack a nice punch. I mean, someone might look at you and think, oh, please, whatever, push over, whatever. But honey, they got another thing coming. And that's what he did. He summed you up. And that's why his ass was bold enough to follow you home. But if it was some other like thug type dude, honey, you think he would have followed him home? Please. He would have been.
All right, so I gotta ask you, have you seen?
Like a little fairy? No, I'm playing.
I know, and that's absolutely perfect, and I'm so happy. I didn't mean to take up that much time talking about what happened, but I wanted to at least bring it up. It's like 6:45. We were supposed to cut off.
I'm so happy that you're safe and sound, honey.
Me too. Safe and sound from the pink pepper spray. I want to end the show with something fun. So I'm going to ask you about what your most favorite movie or show that you've watched. If you're binge watching anything, because from what I understand, there's several shows that are out now that are quite hot. Not just your shows.
Oh my God. Oh, you're really on the flattery boat today.
I don't want to catfish you or nothing.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to catfish you or nothing.
Oh, you mean the catfish that broke my bed? That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole episode.
Yeah, 400 pounds later.
Okay, but seriously, are you watching any TV shows or movies or anything that you like or enjoy a lot? Because there's a lot of stuff that I've been watching.
So I just started literally watching on Netflix it's about Sam Cooke, and it's the two murders of Sam Cooke, I think it is, the singer Sam Cooke, the two murders of Sam Cooke. Don't quote me on that. If you put in Sam Cooke, the movie will pop up, but it looks good. So it's a documentary. I started watching it, so I'll let you know how it is. Maybe next week I'll be done and I can give you feedback on it. And then there's another one. It's a love story about a couple of color, something in Malcolm. Ooh, I can't remember. It's something in Malcolm, but what I'll do, I'll definitely try and finish the Sam Cooke one, and I'll give you some feedback. It looks really good. So those are the two that I'm starting to watch. What about?
That's good. Well, I mean, I've never watched that show. I think it's called Bridgerton or Bridgerton or am I saying it properly?
Bridgerton.
I never watched it before, but it kind of popped up on my radar only because of something that's close to both of our hearts. A person of color that was the queen originally of England, oddly enough. And that no one's ever talked about it before. And I didn't realize that even happened until this movie came out, and now people are talking about it, which I think it's interesting because in America, they tried to it sounds bad to say this, they tried to whiten her up, her image, but what she actually looked like was different, but it was a person of color that was the Queen of England.
She was it was Queen Charlotte.
Yes, Charlotte. That's correct.
And she was mixed. She was a mixed heritage, but she did have black blood in her. And I think they didn't I think back in those days, they didn't even talk about it really. It was like a hush hush thing. But yeah, Queen Charlotte.
But it's not hush hush no more, because with Bridgerton, it's all up front,
Oh,
because
I
she's the main character.
know. I remember.
So it's not hush hush no more.
I remember when oh God, what's her name? Married Harry.
Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle married Harry. There was talk about it because Meghan Markle being biracial, there was talk about Queen Charlotte a little bit. But now you're right with this Bridgerton. And you know what? I'm sorry, but there is a fine ass guy in that show. I can't remember his name, but dear Lord, I was clicking on it, and honey, I was like getting hot and bothered.
No, I know what you're talking about, and actually, maybe that might be part of the reason why I paid attention to it, because I think he did a couple of interviews the week before. He is really super fine.
He's
that other,
and
he is super fine.
He has an English accent, and honey, super man of color with an English accent, super fine, nice caramel color. Oh my God. And let me tell you, my legs are like this.
I got my caramel chocolate coffee still left over. He's definitely caramel chocolate, but I think that it's interesting that we've never talked about it like publicly, except for the little part when Meghan Markle got into this stuff. But having this movie come out now, it's really, really good. And having the poet doing the stuff that she's doing, it's really, really good. For people that are not of color, they're threatened by seeing all of this at once. So I think that's part of the reason why there's so much more crime towards people of color. Actually, in Los Angeles County, they saw I believe, a 70% uptick of crimes against people that were of Asian descent.
Wow.
Only since March 15th.
I wonder why. Can anyone say the China virus?
I know, but isn't that, but that's been happening just there and also everywhere because of that.
I got a kick out the way he would say China, I have to say.
No, yeah, I'm not surprised. That baby diaper on the inflatable version of him, absolutely perfect. That reminds me of that, the way that you said it. Sorry. I'm sorry. And now people hear me snort.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, I want to get to the important part of the show. I want to say thank you to our more than 92,000 viewers. We're getting close to the 100. And then I also want to do a shout out, and I want you to start doing it. And I just want to let people know at home, if you want to be on our show, you can. As one of our viewers, you can be one of our guests on the show and share your personal story. It was something that I saw on like regular TV, and I thought it might be fun for us to do it also as well. Yeah. A regular viewer at home, you can jump on the call with us, share your personal story, bring up a topic of conversation, jump on the Zoom call with us, become part of our lives, because part of what we do is part of what you do. And it's very important that we continue with that. But I do want to remind people, if you are interested in advertising, advertise at mySouthernExposure.site. If you want to get a hold of me, that's Joseph at mySouthernExposure.site. If you want to get a hold of this beautiful Raven Vixen, that's Raji at mySouthernExposure.site. So that's basically all of that. And if you're interested, just contact me or Raji, or wherever the email goes, it's going to come to me for the most part, except for Raji. So if you send it to her, go ahead and send it to her. And we're also looking to hire people as well. So work at mySouthernExposure.site. You can work from home safely, make 20% commission off of our ad rates. Our ad rates are very inexpensive. I probably shouldn't show what they are because they're only supposed to be sent out to people who are actually pre-qualified. And if you are a Trump supporter, then I do not want you to advertise on my show. Or if you believe in anything that supports that, I do not want your money. I'd rather you shove it up your ass or choke on it. That's pretty much that. So whatever. I mean, I don't have no filter at this point. I'm too old to have a filter. I mean, I really don't care. I mean, if other people can say whatever they want, I can do the exact same thing. I was thinking about it, like we talked about it the last episode. If Hoda and Jenna can drink wine on their show live on public television.
Right, exactly. Why can't we, right? Yeah.
Why can't I have a beer? If you don't like it, don't watch. Don't subscribe. But I do want you to subscribe if you understand the humor and the entertainment value, and also understand what we're doing to try to help our communities, not just in Fort Lauderdale, all across the entire United States and all around the world. We want to help LGBTQ people as well as the straights. We love you. I should say that maybe that's offensive, me calling them the straights, our allies. If you are an LGBTQ ally, we really love and support you, and we would like to help you also as well. So I am done talking. It's time to eat some food. I want to say thank you to Raji and thank you to the viewers, and I'm gonna leave it up to you to close the show because it's much nicer to have you finish the show as opposed to listening to me.
Aw, there he goes again, boy. I tell you, it's been a show of compliments. I feel my ego is really stroked this episode. So anyway, oh God. You're on a roll tonight, aren't you? So anyway, I just want to thank you all for watching again, and I want to wish everyone a fantastic week. Do something fun, watch something on Netflix, something juicy, and I really would like, one of our viewers to join us soon. That would be really fun. I'd like that. I'd like to be in a sandwich. So yeah, come on. Send us a message that you're interested in. Maybe you'll be on My Southern Exposure. And so on that note, I want to wish everyone love, happiness, peace, good health, prosperity, and many wonderful blessings. Namaste. Bye.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Raji, and thank you so much at home. Everyone have a good night. It's going to take me a couple seconds to close the video. I'm sorry. I'm a little stupid.